Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast Podcast. My name is Eddie Ift, and I am your host for this evening. I don't know why I'm being weird. Maybe it's because I've had a couple drinks. That's right, I'm in Lake Tahoe on vacation. That's what I do in my spare time. Now, I'm not on vacation, guys. I'm working. I'm doing shows at the Improv in Lake Tahoe. And I haven't done any podcasts while I'm here, but that's because I recorded so many in the South Bay. So many. I have so many amazing guests coming up. Today we've got Neal Maddox, incredible CrossFit Games athlete, incredible, just beast of a human being, and a good dude too. We also have Jason Khalipa coming up. We have Freddie Camacho. We have a little gold medal winner by the name of Johnny Mosley coming up. We have Sage Hopkins from San Jose State, who's in the power strength endurance with Brian McKenzie and does the swimming aspect of it. So many. I'm trying to get all the Boston, all the Reebok people. I'm going to be there coming up. That's, if you want to know where I'm going to be this week, I'm going to be coming up Monday through Saturday. Let's look at what the date is, because I know some of you just are like, what's the date though? Monday through Saturday, 13th through the 19th of January, I will be in Las Vegas at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club at the MGM. Come out and see me. You'll love that show. Then I go to Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm there the 23rd, 24th, 25th. 23rd, 24th, 25th. New York City, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. I'll be at the Comedy Cellar. I'm also going to be at Gotham Comedy Club on the 28th for Comedy Juice. Then on the 30th, 31st, and 1st, I'll be in Boston. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, I'll be in Vancouver. That's in February. And then I'm off to Australia to play the Fringe Festival in Adelaide, Australia. I'm also playing Melbourne, Australia. I'm doing 3 nights. I believe I am doing February 19th, 21st, and 22nd. All other dates, if you want to check them out, eddyift.com, eddyift.com. There's also a wadcastpodcast.com page you can go to. That's where you can connect our Patreon. And we do a really cool thing where if you give us $5 a month, you get in the drawing for a Myopux, which I'm going to go give my Myopux to Joe Prano, my buddy Joe Prano, who opens for me on the road today as we were skiing in Lake Tahoe. He was snowboarding. He ran right into another dude and cracked his leg. He broke his tibia and broke his tibial plateau. And it's nuts. And I feel bad for the guy. But anyway, I don't know what I was telling you. I'm telling you where I'm going to be. I'm looking for my dates here. I can't find them. Oh no, I already told you my dates. I'm trying to get you the, Jesus, what is happening to the show? It's falling apart. I'm going to get it started. I mean, wow, somebody's been drinking. Here's the deal. The Patreon. There is a winner. I just can't find him. There he is. Cody Burns. Congratulations, Cody Burns. You got a Myopux that, I need one myself. So I'm going to try to get one because I'm giving mine to Joe Prano to flush all that waste out of his leg. A Myopux is an electronic muscle stimulator with a TENS device. You can use the TENS for pain management. You can use the electronic muscle stimulator to pump blood into the injured area. And what it does is it expedites the inflammatory process, heals the area, and flushes out all the waste to the lymphatic system. How does this work? It's so tiny. It's so remote. You just put some pads on you. It's got a little like iPhone thing. You start hitting it and it takes care of you and you will be so happy. You also get a leopard claw, which these things are really expensive and they're really cool and they scrape all the adhesions. And, an adhesion's something you get between your skin and your fascia. And it creates these like bumps and doesn't allow blood flow and it's blood restriction. And you gotta not like break up all that, those knots and those kinks and those crunks and gunks and whatever the fuck they are. Just get them out of there. So, $5 to our Patreon. That's what you get. Huh? You could get that. You could get that. I'm not saying you will, but wink, wink. There's a really good chance. Let's see. Most importantly, this show's sponsored. All right. It's pretty cool. I've been getting involved with this. So Fitiv is an app. Fitiv is an app that you can get on your iPhones, your Samsungs, everything. And it is awesome. And Fitiv, what it's going to do, it's an exercise app. There's other exercise apps out there. None of them are as good as this one. Why not? Because it's special. Fitiv Pulse is an all-in-one health and fitness app. It's a good way to track your progress or level up your performance. Let me tell you what it does. You're going to connect it to your Apple Watch, your Bluetooth heart rate monitor, or your smartwatch, and you're going to record your workouts. And you're going to visualize your real-time heart rate data. That's what it does. So you're going to be able to see your heart rate. You're going to be able to see the data afterwards, and you're going to know, I was pushing too hard here, or I wasn't pushing hard enough here. It's really good to compile this data, check it out, and see what you're doing. I used it today. I went skiing, and I wanted to know, like, where and when my heart rate's up, and what am I sustaining, and can I push harder, and am I going to bonk out? And this is a good way to do it. So it's got a lot of customizations. You can tailor make it for like whatever workout you're doing. It's got features like voice notifications, workout groups, personalized challenges, which we have our own challenge. If you go on, there's a Wadcast challenge. You want to compete with me? End of the week, Friday to Friday. Let's see who's more badass. Come at me, people. Come at me. Get yourself the Fitiv Pulse, Fitiv. Get on there. Join the challenge, which is with me, the Wadcast challenge. All you got to do, you'll find it on there. And if you use any other apps, in fact, I used Map My Run the other day and it merged with it. It was great. Like you just do Map My Run and it'll show up on Fitiv. If you use like Apple Health, MyFitnessPal, Strava, Training Peaks, any of this, you're not going to have to compromise. You're not, it's showing up on both. So CrossFitters are loving this. It's really good because all this data you're going to want, you're an exercise geek. You're going to want to figure this out. And this is the best way to do it. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to fitiv.com/promo, enter the promo code WADCAST for 33% off a year subscription. That's Fitiv, FITIV.com/promo, enter code WADCAST, WODCAST for 33% off your, year subscription. Unlock your fitness with Fitiv Pulse. So, I think that's it. I think we got everything covered here. Just do us a favor. Please go to, iTunes. Just go comment, rate, review the show, please. And, I hope you enjoy these episodes. I'm working really hard on them. So, this one was done at Neal Maddox gym in, Silicon Valley. What an amazing gym and an amazing person. Please enjoy Neal Maddox. Welcome to the Wadcast podcast. It's Neal Maddox Day here at the CrossFit, the Wadcast CrossFit podcast, whatever the fuck this is. I've been traveling, you can tell, forever. I've been on the road, North Carolina, Pittsburgh. Now I'm in South Bay or whatever you guys call it, San Jose. I got to go to San Fran, then I got to go to Tahoe, then Vegas, then Boston. It's insane. Damn, man. But you know traveling.
Yep, I know traveling. I actually just got back from Manila, so we're out there, and I was out there doing hosting, help assisting and directing the Cleese game. So basically what I did was do all the programming for the Cleese games out in Manila, the Philippines, and so I just got back from that. So
how was Manila? I've never been there.
So it's like a it's like a third world with like the new world. So it's like the second world. So, you know, it's like literally you'll go and you'll see shopping malls that look like you're in the US, and then right across the street, you're like, what the hell is this?
That's third world. Yeah. That's because I've been all over India and China and stuff like that. And you see like some of the richest shit you've ever seen. Like I was in India. There's a home. Yeah. There's a house that's over $1 billion. $1 billion home. It's a skyscraper. Yeah. And one family lives in it. They own the whole telecom business of India. And it's on, I think it's Altamont Street. And right across the street is like rubble. Like, and people eating like dog shit. Yep. And it always scares me. I'm like, this is what could happen in America if people keep getting richer and people keep getting poor.
It's starting to happen already. If you've been in San Jose enough, you'll see that like here, every single day I know it sounds bad, but I have to fight off a bum from trying to come into my property and steal stuff. And I've dealt with that in the last 4 years. I've dealt with that more than I have my whole life.
It's getting worse and worse.
And it's getting worse and worse. If you just drive, I mean, look on the side of the freeways. I mean, people sleeping everywhere on the side of the freeways.
When you have to fight them off, do you just take your shirt off and flex and they run away?
All day. You know, I get out there and I'm because I've had stuff stolen and things broken into over here and stuff like that. I'm pretty aggressive towards them because, you know, it's like you're fucking with my property. You shouldn't be over here.
Could you imagine if you came in here one day and one of them broke in and he's like doing like pull-ups and
well, to give you a story, we're over here and this is in April, right outside. I had all these like pots and plants and stuff like that. And I was outside talking to a member. I'm inside. I'm sitting right here looking outside. Some guy comes running up and takes our pots and takes off running. So I run outside like, what the hell are you doing? So I run after the dude. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? The guy takes our pot to go throw it at a car. And it was a homeless dude. And so the guy comes back. He throws my pot. He comes back. And then the guy is just cussing and saying all this stuff. And then he goes to grab something right over here. And then, you know, he picks it up and then he's going towards one of my members. And then he's like really aggressive, aggro, the whole nine. Going towards one of my members, pushes one of my members. As soon as he did that, I went behind him, put him in a chokehold, put him down on the ground, and the guy was trying to stab me with these pins and stuff. So I just choked him out real quick and held him. Once he submitted, I had the cops come. He got arrested.
Holy shit!
I don't like talking about that. Hey guys, this is a safe area. Don't trip. You got a bodyguard, Neal Maddox right here who will protect you. So don't even worry.
Who was it? It was Ryan Fisher, I think, told the story on our podcast years ago about when he used to coach at Ronnie Teasdale's gym. Yep. And they were down in downtown LA where it was like just full of homeless people. And one time, was that their gym? Or maybe it was Deuce, where somebody walked up and saw the rope and he was like, it was Logan told the story from Deuce. Some guy just walked up and he looked at the rope and he was like, hey, can I give it a try? And they were like, go ahead.
Yes, we get people who come in here who know they shouldn't be CrossFitting or can't even afford a CrossFit gym membership, and they're like, "Oh, how much is a membership? Oh, don't have that money," and then they just like walk right out. So it's like, you know, it's like you get it. You know, I'm not trying to be mean and I'm not trying to discriminate on homeless people. I do think that we should set up things to help them, but in the sense of if you're going to help them. Like, for instance, I hear cities where they have homeless people pick up, trash, and then they pay them a fee. Why don't they do that here? You know how much trash is on our freeways everywhere?
We could go into this for hours, days and hours.
I could go on days. Instead of just giving out free money, you know, have people work for it.
Yeah, it's a little difficult. I've worked in politics for like 6 months of my life and went, this is a disaster. It's so complicated, the bureaucracy and the homeless problem. It's one of those things. It's like, why don't we fix campaign finance reform? Why don't we fix all these things? And it's just one of those things. I hate to sound, pessimistic, but or apathetic, but you're not going to fix this shit.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to fix it. I mean, it'll take some kind of revolution to fix it, but who knows? And going back to, I know what the third world, first world, second world. I looked it up how it works. Yeah. First world are all the countries that are like industrious and have money and have like social safety nets and all this. Third world are third world are like countries like Africa and China where they're like completely impoverished. Yep. India, second world, or I don't even know if India or China are third world anymore, but like, you know, like South American or Central American.
There's certain places that are like third world. Like I've been to I know what you're talking about.
Second world is former communist countries.
Wow.
I always wondered what's second world. Second world is like stuff in Eastern Europe. That's all second world shit.
Okay.
So I keep thinking America's not going to go second world. America's going to go first to third.
Yep. Well, I hope it doesn't happen in my lifetime, but who knows? The way
there are parts of America that you go to.
It's kind of crazy. If we go to this politics, and we'll get through with it. In 1974, when they took us off the gold standard and changed our money to currency, now they can just print fake ass money over and over. Before, we only had a certain amount of money based off the gold reserves that we had. Okay, so that means you can only print as much as you have. Once they took us off that in 1974, guess what? That means they could print. And why do you think the deficit keeps getting more and more and more? And people keep getting, you didn't hear of gazillionaires back in the day. There was millionaires, but you didn't have billionaires. Now we're going to have fucking trillionaires. It's just because all this fake money that you just keep producing.
When I was in high school in graphics class, we printed money. We made a plate. We printed $20 bills, like exact identical. We took a image of it, and our graphics teacher, Mr. I think it was Yanas. What was his name? Y. We called him Y. He called the Secret Service, the Treasury Department. They came into the school, they confiscated our plate, and they threatened all of us for counterfeiting. I was like 16 years old, and we were counterfeiting money, but we made them bigger than they were supposed to be, so we couldn't get in trouble. We were just joking around. We're like, hey, let's see if we can make it 20. So we made a $20 bill.
Wow. Yeah. When back in the day, a lot of people, we'll get for it. A lot of people didn't know about my CrossFit career and what I was doing during CrossFit and stuff like that when I was competing.
I know. I lost a lot of money on you. I always bet it on you go back to old shows of this. They're like, who's your prediction? Who do you think's going to win this year? And I'm like, I think this is Neal Maddox year. I think this is Neal Maddox year.
Let me go back to what was going on with those. A lot of people didn't realize, because I kept my life under the wraps. I worked 3 jobs while I owned my own job, while I owned my own gym. And I was trying to compete in the CrossFit Games.
Jesus.
And I did that for years. And when you did that, you just get burnt out. And a lot of times I always thought that I was mentally ready and stuff like that. But until I had the year where I had to have surgery and I had to take a whole year off of CrossFit, and I got to be that guy from the outside looking in and just really watch, what I did was I dissected all the best CrossFitters. And I looked at what they had and what was the difference between me and them. And the biggest thing that I think that I lacked more so than anyone else was the support, the support system. What I mean by that is all of them had, like all the winners and all the previous champions, if you look at their support system, they have great family structure and they have great support from their family. And when I look at my family structure, I never had that. I grew up in a single parent home. We were impoverished, meaning we had no money. Like, I lived on the streets. I lived in shelters. I grew up a hard life. A lot of people didn't know that about me. I had family that was hardcore into drugs. I didn't like sharing that information because I was embarrassed of that information. But what I realized was I had to learn to accept it and really learn to grow from it instead of allowing it to keep holding me back and not trusting people. And so that right there was when I'd get into hard workouts and stuff and things would happen, I would resort to those old impoverished ways of, not giving up, but not having the intensity or the drive that I once did because I self-doubted myself. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that stuff I had to learn. And when it was taken away from me, I relearned how to love the sport. And I went into the 35 to 39 and I really, I wanted to win that badly. However, my conditioning wasn't on point. I let someone else take control of my conditioning when I needed to take control of it. And that's exactly, I didn't get the outcome I wanted. So I changed my whole approach and started reading a lot of books about mentality. I read them before, but I reopened my books that, that really, really struck a chord. And one of them one of the books was with John Wooden. If you know about him, one of the greatest coaches ever.
UCLA, was it?
Yep, yeah. UCLA, man. He talks a lot about mindset and just talks about an approach. Like literally on day one, when people would come in, he would teach grown men how to tie their shoes. And I went back and I just re-evaluated every situation, and I basically went from ground one and built myself up. So when I got into that master's division, the 40 to 45, you know, I only did the masters just because I got called out by Sean Ramirez. That's the only reason why I did it. I wasn't going to compete in the masters at all. My mindset was I did the open. That's like going from Major League Baseball. The masters is like AAA, and I'm not taking anything away, but when you go from the open division to masters, it's
the publicity amount that goes to, and that frustrates me. I'm an older guy myself, and older than you, and I see, to me, it's more commendable the people that are in the masters, because these people have the rate of attrition, how much they've lasted, how long you've stayed healthy, been able to still do this. Like you, I look at you look the same as you did when I saw you 12 years ago or whatever, 10 years ago doing this shit.
I just don't perform the same. I don't perform at all.
Yeah, I mean, but the fact that you can still do this and do this at a high rate is really, because I'll sit there and go, I can't do that, I'm too old. Then I see you do it, I'm like, oh fuck, I shouldn't be saying this. I do have the potential to do this stuff. We all do. We just don't, because we don't have the mindset of someone like you. So to me, especially CrossFit being all health oriented, they should spotlight people like you and the masters more, because you are the guys achieving stuff that is, it's more difficult what you're doing than some 22-year-old kid.
So for instance, who was the guy, I forgot his name, the gentleman who was 62 who won the masters division.
Is it Heppenstall? Heppen.
I apologize.
I do too, because
I apologize. I should know this.
I think his daughter listens to the show.
Awesome. He's the one who's always doing the rope climbs and all that stuff. The dude is really awesome. But to me, I find that more inspiring, and I find that more electric than me in my 30s competing in the open division. Why? Is because I am in the field every day, and I have people who are 60 years old who can barely squat and say, oh, I could. People my age are doing that. Yes. If you train your body and you teach your body to go the distance, you can do all those things even in a later stage.
Kelly Slater just won the Triple Crown in surfing at 47 years old. I think he finished 8th in the world. Yep. 8th in the world, and to me, he's probably about 4th. Yep. Like if I were to judge he's 4th best. In some senses, he's still the best. Yep. He's still the best. I mean, he might not be able to do the airs that some of the young kids can do, just because that wasn't his thing. But at that age, and in that sport where it's that physical, I mean, when they get beatings under the water, that's like it's getting tackled by like 4 linebackers at one time. So guys like him, guys like you, guys in sport. There's a guy Jaromir Jagr, who played hockey till he's like
Pittsburgh Penguins, baby.
Yeah, I remember
Mario Lemieux.
Yeah. So I'm from Pittsburgh, and I remember I was like a young kid with Jagr. Yep. Like I was getting out of high school when he was starting at the Penguins, and he just finished like a year ago.
I know,
and I think he might have gone to Europe to keep playing.
Well, look at Tom Brady and Drew Brees.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, back to the thing that I was talking about where I was getting with the mindset thing and stuff like that. You know, like I said, I came from a impoverished state, dealt with a lot of, family drug abuse, all that stuff. And like I said, I never really came out or never really talked about that stuff. But until I met my wife and, ended up getting married, I ended up learning how to develop that support system and have that family that I never really had before. Because when I played football games, and my mom is a great woman. I love my mom. My mom would do anything for us. But when you're a single mom raising 5 kids,
oh my God,
one of your kids has a kid, and this is at a young age, she couldn't be at all my games. You know, she had to support the family. So I never really had people at my games. So it's kind of funny. Whenever I had my mom at my games, I had the best games of my life. I was like the number 1 athlete, like on the field. And then when she wasn't, I was your typical average person. And the same thing happened, in the games, I didn't have that family until 40 to 44 when I had, my wife, her family out there, everyone to support me. All of a sudden, I was able to compete at a high level and have no self-doubt. There was no self-doubt that went in because I had the support.
That's interesting.
The structure.
Never heard anybody say anything like this.
And so to me, that was big. And where did I get this from? I looked at, the top. I looked at Rich. If you look at his support group and his family and how they're behind him, they're on, like, his mom and dad go everywhere.
Yeah.
His wife, everything. You look at Jason Khalipa when he was at the top of the sport, same thing. Just Chris Spieler, same thing. Matt, you just look at the top people. That's what they had. When I was competing in the games, I didn't have that. One year I had my mom at the games, but she was dealing with health issues, and I want to thank Dave Castro for allowing her to be at the games so she can be there with me and see that. But I had, as a matter of fact, those games, I had the best placement of my life. I placed top 10 in the world in the CrossFit games. There's some situations that I cut myself a little short where I could have probably been in the top 3, but you live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
And just move forward.
Your football background, though, you were a pretty good football player.
I think I'm a better CrossFitter than I was a football player.
Well, you were top 10 in the world, so that's it's pretty hard to top that.
So I did play football. I think now with the mindset that I have now, like I said, it's all about everyone grows and learns at different stages. Let's go back to mindset. If I was a student of football and not just rely on my natural abilities, I would have had a long NFL career.
What position did you play?
I played safety.
Okay.
But I just was raw. I didn't study. I wasn't the student of the game. When I got into CrossFit, I applied. So this is how things get layered. I applied the principles that I learned from football because I got into coaching because my football career fizzled out. Tried to go NFL, got hurt, went arena football, wasn't making enough, went.
Where'd you play college?
Played up in Oregon at Linfield College, a private school. And when I went there, had some walk-ons and some, not walk-ons, but, got picked up, was a free agent, try to get on a team as a free agent.
Right.
And as you know that, you're only in camp for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And if they don't want you, you get washed. And
yeah.
I got washed, got hurt, got washed, tried to go arena football with Coach Arbette and did that, had fun with it, but if you're on the practice squad, they change their squad every single week, and they can only carry 4 or 5. I think it was 5 people max on their squad, and they wanted to change my position. I'm not a corner. I was a rover / safety. I was more of the guy who was in the box who wanted to hit. I wasn't the guy who was going to cover. So when they tried to change my position, it didn't happen. But what I took from that was after I was done, I started learning, okay, hey, what were some of the downfalls? Why didn't I make it to the next level? What I realized is that I wasn't a student. And what I mean by a student is I didn't study the game the way I was supposed to study. And so when I was retired after our football, I studied players. I just watched players. I read about players, studied them, what their habits were, the whole 9 yards. And once I started doing that, I started learning more about the game because I learned, movement, technique, all that stuff even further. And then once I became a coach, it got me to even dive even further. And so all that stuff that I learned from football about study, film review, all that stuff, I applied it to CrossFit. That's why I was able to jump into CrossFit and be good right away, because of the simple fact that, hey, I have movement deficiencies. If I have movement deficiencies, what are some ways to clean them up? Easy. You record your movement, study the movement, see what you're doing wrong, study the best in the game, and mimic and copy that. And do it through, proper, progressions and all that stuff. And so that's how I applied the football to the CrossFit, which helped me spark my career.
Well, you also came into CrossFit, a beast already. You were probably physically more, fit than 90% of the guys in CrossFit because, there were guys that came up through CrossFit and developed through it, but you were already developed.
I still wish I did the 2009 CrossFit Games. I wish. I'm telling you, I wish.
Is that the one
that was the year Miko Salo won?
Yeah, I remember.
If they had so that year was I found out about CrossFit in February of 2009.
How'd you find out about it?
So. How I found out, so literally I had a buddy who came down, Jacoble. He came down, he's all, hey man, I got this program, you got to try. And so I still was a football player, and I thought I was developing this training protocol. I called it hybrid training at the time. And, I did a series of workouts mixed with cardio, mixed with different plyometrics and all that stuff. And I thought I was developing something because I was in shape, I was fast, I was explosive, and I was just feeling good. He comes over and he's all, man, I have this thing. It's called CrossFit. You got to check it out. He's all, I went to this box and trained with this guy. And I'm all, who? I think his name's Jason or something. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He showed me it. So we did Linda, 3 bars of death, So
oh, God.
We did Linda for the first workout. I'm a football player, so that's in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Bench press, cleans, and dead. Let's do it, and heavy. Let's do it. So I did Linda, and then after that, went outside, ran, I think, 20 50s, 50-yard sprints and all that stuff. And then afterwards, I was like, man, this CrossFit thing is pretty good. Let me check it out. Typed up CrossFit site comes up. Then I see these girls doing this workout called, I think it's Nasty Girls or something.
Yeah.
And it was Nicole Carroll and all them. And then I'm watching them do this workout, and I'm like, if these girls can do it, I want to do it right then and there. Then I saw, oh, you can get certified. Literally found out about CrossFit in February, got certified at the end of the month in Aromas, over at CrossFit
at the ranch.
Over at the ranch. So it's kind of funny because my flow my lead was Freddie Camacho.
Uh-huh.
We had Jolie.
I got Freddie on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, so you have Freddie, but then we had Jolie Gentry, or the lady who won it before, I think 2007 or 8, somewhere around there. We had Miranda Oldroyd. We had Pat Barber, Dave, like all the original OGs were there. It's like right before CrossFit kind of puckered up and blew up, and all the OGs were there at my first level 1. And I'll never forget, I was in there and I had bronchitis. I was sick, and I was there. And so our first thing, we had to go out for the squat series, and then they're all, let me introduce the CrossFit Games champion, Jason Khalipa. Let's see who can keep up with him with Tabata squats. And so, Jason, sorry, I never told you this, but he was doing squats. I think he was doing 20 to 21 reps every single time. Whatever he got, I made sure I got 1 more or 2 more than him. Then later on, we had another workout. Whatever he did this workout at lunch, and then we had to do this workout. Whatever he got, I try to beat it. And so what I noticed was, if this guy's a CrossFit Games champion and I'm getting numbers like him, pretty interesting. But I didn't know that they had a sanctional. I didn't even know there was a CrossFit Games. A couple of months down the road, then all of a sudden I see something about sanctional, and the guys who are in my class who were taking the class at the same time, I think it was Joey Warren, some other gentleman from San Francisco, who qualified for the CrossFit Game, but all those guys were in my class.
Was it Marcus Philly?
No, Marcus Philly wasn't in it at that time. It was a different guy before him. He trained over at San Francisco CrossFit. He qualified in 2009, and then they had some other dude, like some fireman dude who's pretty good, who competed in the 2009 CrossFit Games. But anyways, these guys were at my level 1, and I'll never forget because none of them beat me on these workouts. None of them did. I beat them, and I beat them by some good margins. You guys might not remember it. I remember it. I keep track. But, and then I'll never forget, Pat Barber comes up to me, and I'm talking, and he was telling me, and then I was telling him, Pat Barber thought I was blowing all this steam and all this smoke when I was giving him all my numbers and stuff. He's like, and even if you talk to Pat Barber today,
I was with Pat yesterday.
Yeah, he'll still say the same stuff today. Like, he thought I was blowing smoke about all this stuff. And so I sat there, and like I said, I didn't know about the games. I got a newsletter or something, and then I saw the games, and I'm like, how can I sign up? It's too late. So I had to register as a judge, and being a judge and seeing everything backstage, and I've told this story a million times. It was the last WOD. It was the last chipper before I think Miko Salo won and Tommy Hackenbrook took second. But anyways, I will never forget. I saw Greg Glassman and Dave Castro, and me and Dave just hit it off. But then Glassman, I told Glassman right then and there, you will see me at the CrossFit Games next year. And I'll never forget. Glassman told me, I know. I believe you. I'll see you there. And exactly a year later, I was at the CrossFit Games, and I told him, you see, I'm here. But what the CrossFit Games to me allowed me to be a professional athlete after I thought my years of being a professional athlete were done. It allowed me a platform that I could still be me But not only that, be me through fitness, because that's what I was. They called me Machine Maddox. That's what I did. In football, I was always the guy in the weight room. I loved that stuff. That was just me. So, having that platform and having it created that we can be able to be a professional athlete at a level of fitness, just doing fitness, was amazing to me.
Are you still competing?
No, I'm retired.
Really?
Yeah, I'm done.
Come on.
I'm done.
Why?
Because, as much as I want to compete, it doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
I have a family.
Yeah.
And I have obligations to be a good husband.
Yeah.
And I have obligations to provide for a wife and kids. So,
how many kids you got?
my daughters are big. So
okay.
they're older. I mean, Aubrey just graduated from San Francisco State, so they're all older.
Nice.
But the thing is that I want to be able to, have retirements, have a retirement, all that stuff. And, competing ain't going to allow me to secure the funds to be able to say, hey, me and my wife are going to retire at 65. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
But
doesn't it burn you? Like, don't you see guys out there? You're like, I can beat that guy. I can.
You know what?
Wait, what'd you get? You got second in the Masters?
So I got second from 35 to 39. I got second, and then I won the Masters 40 to 44. And when I won the Masters at 44, I literally retired right after.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I retired is I was in the backstage. And while I was in the backstage, right before we went on for our last WOD, I always told myself, if I ain't enjoying it and I'm not loving it, then I shouldn't be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there, and the open division to the Masters wasn't the same feeling.
Sure.
I went from first class to coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way you're treated in the open, people don't understand. If you only went to the Masters, it's like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing. But if you've been an open athlete for 6 years and then you go to the Masters, you're like, boy, you get the shit end of the stick.
Yeah.
You don't.
Oh, I've seen it when I go to the games and, on the main stage and then they're like over in this little corner over here.
Exactly. The sideshow.
2 days before. And I'm like, no, you guys need to highlight that shit. That's really impressive. And, maybe I'm just saying it because I'm old, but I think it's harder to do what you're doing at that age than what those guys are doing.
Well, their recovery is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference now. So Dave Castro told me the last year that I was competing in the games, he's all, Neal, you're the anomaly. There'll not be another guy your age making it to the CrossFit games. Well, if they had the old format of regionals and all that, now shit, are they sending the fittest to the games every year?
No. Yeah.
Sorry, CrossFit, I'm not trying to hammer it, but I'm disappointed with where the sport is going now. I worked my freaking ass off to try to go. I literally would kill myself to make it to the games. Now you have guys who are making it to the games who can't even do a rope climb, a legless rope climb. Did you see that?
No. There was a guy, from one of the other countries?
Or women or from different countries who can't even finish WODs, and you're telling me you're getting the fittest in the world?
Yeah, but it's the same way with the Olympics. It's the same way. You look at the Olympics, you've got,
but still,
Jamaican bobsled teams and Eddie the Eagle and that swimmer from Equatorial Guinea. That happens, and it's all about being inclusive and letting the world in. I get what CrossFit's doing. Those people get knocked out. My background is track, and when I ran track, you go to the preliminaries, the semifinals, and the finals. When you're in the finals, when you're in the prelims, there's a bunch of goofballs there. Yep. When you're in the finals, those are the top 8 fastest guys out there, hands down. No one sneaks into the final. Like, you can't magically get fast, just like you can't magically get fit enough to be in the finals of the CrossFit
there's people now who are magically getting stronger. I don't know. But they're magically getting, VO2 max is shooting out. I don't know, but
they test positive sometimes. Sometimes.
Oh, wait. Matter of fact, someone in my division who I had. Okay, I'm not trying to boast, but I will boast for a second. I had the I didn't even need to compete on Sunday. I had it won. I basically felt like Matt Frazier and Rick Frowning for a day.
Would have been funny if you didn't compete.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have to.
Did you just tap the bars?
No.
You did everything?
You had to work out. If you didn't work out, if you didn't get a score, you get disqualified. So I had to work out. But anyways, my pride wouldn't let me fold. So the last event, I had a messed up back from the D-balls or something like that, and then I won the last event. But anyways, I had it won on that day, and then the guy who took second place was
tested?
Shit, yeah.
Who was it?
You guys already know. He won the championship a few years prior to, won it for a few years, and he was the one who called me out.
I'm trying to think who it is. Come
Sean
on.
Ramirez.
Oh, yeah. That's.
Hey, man, to each his own. I don't know if he had a dirty supplement or what. I don't know.
I'm sorry. This is just my opinion. I find the dirty supplement thing hard to believe.
Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm going to be honest. Natural evolution of life, you will lose your abilities. And yes, there are things that can keep you younger. I refuse to ever do any of those things that will keep me younger because it's a natural evolution. And so, like I said, the reason, going back to why I retired, is when you're in the open division, you know, I look down the line, there would be a Rich Frowning. Yes, I competed against Matt Frazier when he was in the early years. I competed against Jason. I competed against Garrett, all the top guys in the world. And when I competed against those guys, I looked down the line. When I was in the Masters division, the only person that I remembered was either Chris Spieler or Matt Chan. And those both guys were, or not Matt Chan, but was Kyle Kasperbauer. And all three of us were on the podium for the 35 to 39 division. And when I went to the Masters division, I looked down the line. There was no one that I saw who was recognizable in the open division or ever competed in the open division. So right then and there, well, actually, I think one guy might have been, I think the guy who took third place, but he came from Africa, South Africa or something like that. Anytime you come from regions like that, it's pretty easy. It's easier to qualify, and it's a little harder to qualify in the States. Mm-hmm. Well, at least back then. Now, I don't know how the system goes, but the system has changed a lot.
I'm sorry to interrupt the show again, but I want to talk to you about a product called Astrogen. If you're wondering what Astrogen is, it was something I didn't know about myself. And I had to really, really go down my wormholes to find out about Astrogen, because when I first heard about it, I was like, this is interesting. This is right on the precipice of, there's a lot of stuff going on in the field of nutrition. We're figuring out a lot of interesting things. And a lot of them are about gut health. And Astrogen, what it is, it's a product that you want to see in anything any of your supplements, anything that you're taking. And that's all it is. It should be one of the ingredients you see. Because what Astrogen does is it's like a game-changing ingredient. It helps support gut health and absorption and bioavailability of key nutrients. It's in hundreds of supplements worldwide already. It should be in all of them, because what it does is it allows your system to take in the nutrients. Sometimes nutrients don't get absorbed into the stomach, so this is kind of the vehicle that gets them there. It's 100% plant-based compound. It's created by developers at New Live Science. And, when it comes to your gut, like, you need a good gut. Everybody that's had gut problems knows this. So, it's like I said, it's all natural, 100% natural, and it increases the absorption of all these vital nutrients, not all, many, and it promotes a healthy gut environment for better health. So listen, here's what you want to do. You can find it right now in a wide variety of supplements, but you want to make sure your supplements have Astrogen in the formula. If a product doesn't have it, ask your favorite supplement brand to include it in their next formulation. Be like, yo, why don't you get Astrogen? I want that shit being delivered right into me. And then, bam, you guys know how the internet works and social media works. You bug people enough, they make it happen. And you want this stuff in there. You know what I mean? It's like when you look, if you're as bad as me and you want it perfect, then make it happen. Send out your messages. Tell them you want Astrogen, Astragin, in all your supplements. I'm going to interrupt the show for a second to talk about another app that I am involved with. When I say involved, I feel like I'm having a personal relationship with this app. It is my new best friend. We go back and forth all day long because I'm a nutrition nerd. And I have found out, thanks to Macro Stacks, that I'm not eating anywhere near the amount of protein that I should be eating, and that I've been eating way too much fat. Such a good app to do a couple things. You want to gain muscle? This app. You want to lose fat? This app. Now, everybody promises that. The way this delivers is scientifically. You're going to go in. You're going to let the app know what you're eating, how much of it you're eating, and it's going to break down the protein, the fat, and the carbs that you're eating. And it's going to tell you, hey, fatty, you're eating too much fat. Or it's going to go, hey, skinny, you better start eating some protein. It basically has all the details of every single food out there done by, and if it doesn't, you're going to put in the barcode, or you're just going to search for it, or you can even create the data for it. But you put in and you find out, like you put in your, all your numbers, and you're going to find out how much fat you eat and how much you need to eat. It's great. And, it's just all in one. If you want to count your macros, there's no better place. MacroStacks has a scientifically proven flexible plan built in also that's going to help you get results. They basically know by your height, by your weight, by your level of activity, how much of each of these you should be eating. And they're going to let you know. They've got recipes on there. They have a database of over 800,000 foods for easy tracking. And they've got a place to keep track of progress and access to a nutrition coach all in one. MacroStacks has a wide variety of recipes. Anyone from beginner to expert can follow along with ease. All the recipes can be made in bulk to help with meal prep or feed a family. You're going to get 25% off. You want 25% off? Go get MacroStacks. Get a subscription. Visit macrostacks.com. If you're wondering how you spell MacroStacks, it's MacroStax. That's macrostacks.com. Enter the code WODCAST, okay? So, I just want you to know one last thing that I did not tell you. This is a web app, okay? So you're going to, the app's not in the App Store, but it functions just like that. So if you're wondering how to do it, if you're a little bit confused, all you do is you're going to search it, okay? You're going to go to macrostacks.com and you are going to save it. Like if it's on your phone, you want it on your phone. Once you find it, and you can then save it down to your phone. So it will be on your home site and you just press it, goes straight there. But, it is a web app. Again, it's not a phone app. You don't download it like that. Sign up or learn more. And you're going to get 25% off and you're going to get in better shape. And I promise you that if you follow MacroStacks, they've got the key, you know, if you want to know, go to macrostacks.com and enter code WODCAST. I smelled really bad today because I forgot to use deodorant. I was out skiing all day and I didn't use deodorant, and I just ran out of my deodorant, and I didn't pack the deodorant that I love. Native. That's Native. And I was in Whole Foods and I was looking for it and they didn't have it in the Whole Foods I was in, and I almost threw a fit. Why is Native so good? Because it's all natural. That's right. Did you know that many deodorants contain aluminum? Huh? Does that sound good for you? Well, let me tell you something. It forms a plug in your sweat glands. That's how people use it as like an antiperspirant. Do you think that's natural? Native's deodorant's made without aluminum, so you're going to feel a little better about putting Native on. You're not going to not be plugging up those sweat glands. Here's the good thing. It's safe. Native deodorant is formulated without aluminum, no parabens, no talc. How about that? It's also vegan and never tested on animals. Good people. Really good. And all the ingredients you know. Native deodorant is made with ingredients you've heard of, like coconut oil, shea butter. You wear deodorant every day. Why not Native? Why not? Do you not want to use the thing that's best for you? Smells great. It works. Come on. Making the switch to an aluminum-free deodorant does not mean you have to sacrifice on performance. Native will keep you smelling and feeling fresh all day long, and it's got great scents. When I say scents, like not common scents, I mean the smell. They've got 10 scents, including their classic and rotating seasonals. You're gonna love one of them. I use a couple different ones. I like to change it up every once in a while. There's like vanilla, lavender, and rose, cucumber and mint cucumber, mint, and eucalyptus. That's one I use all the time. Something for everyone. They've got it. If you like a smell, they have the smell. They have the scent. And it comes in a wide variety of options for men, women, and even teens. They also offer unscented, no risk to try, made in the USA. Are you not convinced? Huh? Well, check out their reviews. Go online, go on Amazon. They got over 9,000 5-star reviews from happy customers. All right. And I think I'm one of those. So, you want to get it? Here's what you got to do. You want 20% off your first purchase? Visit Native, Native, deodorant.com. Use the promo code WODCAST when you check out. That's nativedeodorant.com. It's the best deodorant out there. Just love it. Enjoy.
Well, when Ramirez, he called you out, what did it, I don't remember this.
He
accused you?
No. So when he called me out, he sent a Facebook post, and the Facebook post was sent. As a matter of fact, I have the same Facebook post still up in my room. I haven't taken it down yet. I had a vision board on my board. That's another thing that I learned as I got older was I always talked about visualizing and the power of visualization, but I didn't understand the true power of visualization. If you're doing it right, literally, when I'd visualize myself before I did workouts, I literally, once I was done visualizing, I was sweating. Okay. I literally put myself through that workout without doing the workout.
Wow.
Seeing myself. It's basically a form of meditation. I never did that prior to. These are things that I learned. Like I said, I was a late bloomer. I learned way late in my life.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit. You've done some pretty awesome things.
And I didn't win the open division, so it's very hard to give yourself credit.
Yeah, that is a hard thing in life. I think a lot of people go through that with everything, especially if you're a high achiever. It's there is that first position, but there's 7 billion people in the world, and only one person gets that. And if you're still in the top 10, it's pretty fucking amazing. And so instead of I do it to myself all the time. I do it with comedians.
I was top 10 in the world at 36 years old.
It's pretty amazing, and you did win the Masters, which is pretty amazing. But but go back. How did he call you out?
So basically, he sent me he sent a message, and it was after he did this competition. I think there was a competition in Arizona where people would go head to head with each other. Battleground or something. I don't know, but he said, he is a Masters champion. He said, he basically said, Chris Spieler, Neal, Maddox, Matt Chan, where are you guys at? I'm the champ. Like basically in this thing. And when he said that, I was like, all right, bro, I wasn't going to do Masters, but now I'm going to do Masters. You want to call me out? I'm going to do it 1 year. And that's all I did. I heard a lot of people saying about how he was how he treated other people in the Masters and stuff like that. And so I gave him a little bit of a taste of his own medicine when I was in the Masters. One, I humbled myself, and I thanked every time I was on the floor, I thanked every single judge. If you watch me, I went around and thanked them, because why I thank them is because if it wasn't for people volunteering, we would never have the CrossFit Games. And sometimes I think that gets so overlooked. I volunteered. I was a rep at the CrossFit Games before competing in the CrossFit Games. I understand people are taking time out of their busy life to make sure that some of our dreams come true, to be the fittest. And so that's why I went out of my way to thank people and not be a douchebag towards refs. Not only that, it was a pleasure for me to be out on the floor with every single athlete, and I walked around and shook everyone's hand. Why? Because I knew right then and there that this stage may not be there forever. What we don't realize is that life is short. We are not guaranteed tomorrow. I can go out tomorrow. Well, I'm not. Please, I'm not. Cursing myself, but I could go out right now and say if something happens and there is an accident, I may not be here.
Yeah.
So we have to be present, and we have to be grateful for each and every day that we're here on this planet. And that's what I am. I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for us being able to have this conversation right now. I'm grateful for my wife over there, the whole 9 yards. So,
one of the things I remember you doing that I thought was awesome was the year. I'm trying to think what year it was.
I took off my glove and gave it to Jonah Koski when he tore up all his hands and couldn't do his bar muscle up.
No, but that's pretty cool. You did that. That's a pretty nice thing to do. Yeah. And that's there was something about that with CrossFit. I remember Miko running with somebody one time, and there's a lot of that. And those are those moments that you look back in history. You do want to win and you want to be the best, but those are the things people. It's not football. You're not Jack Lambert. You're not spitting in a guy's face. Those are funny moments. But I'm talking about the time when you gamed, it was a sled push.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, wait a minute, if I get under this thing, lift it up, it's kind of like you had the football mentality. I can get an angle on this thing and it'll go, and you like flew down the field like 3 times faster than anyone. And they were like, oh, we didn't know what to do.
So Dave Castro comes up to me and told me I needed to change up my technique and all that stuff. So all I did was crouch. I literally, that's the sled right there. It's literally right there.
Oh,
that's the sled. Yes. Yeah, that's what I won right there. It's right there in front of us. And so all I did was crouch down and stayed compact.
Uh-huh.
Once you elongate yourself, you don't have any more power.
Right.
And when I stayed compact, I thought heel to toe, get just get the most out of every push.
Yeah.
And so if you watch me right beforehand, Jason Kalipa comes running up to me. We're training partners at the time, and he's all, Neal, what's the deal? And I told him, stay tight, stay low, stay compact, boom. And guess what? He took second. So that's my.
But I love how they came up to you. They're like, "No, you can't do this anymore."
Yes. And then they tried to change it. So as I was getting yelled at when I was pushing, I had to. That's why when you watch me push, I would have pushed the thing back fast. The second time I would have pushed it back, but they made me change it. And as soon as they made me change my technique, that's where it kind of. It shot me because I was like, okay.
You lost your advantage.
Well, because then I had to get my arms way out in front of me and extended. And then that's just like, once you extend yourself and you're pushing something, you have no power. You have to stay compact and have drive.
Yeah, but it was their fault for not establishing a rule in the beginning, and all of a sudden you figured something out that no one else had figured out. Yep. You got it, and then I thought it was funny that in the middle of it, they're like, oh, we're going to change the rules now. Yep. And it's like, wait a minute, you can't change the rules in the middle of it. He figured this out. They should all be doing what he's doing now. And you had already won your heat or whatever. Yep. Doing that. I'll never forget that, because it was like, I mean, you were you beat them by twice the length of the field.
I beat them pretty badly. But then there, on the other hand, a lot of those guys, when it came to the endurance events, kicked my ass pretty badly.
Really?
Too. So, I'm a football player.
Yeah. We've had, James Townsend.
Yeah.
We've had James on the show, and we look at James, we're like, you should have won the CrossFit Games with your strength, your power, and I would ask people, because I never worked out with them, but like Scott and Armin had, and they're like, he doesn't have the engine that these guys do, and I'm nothing like you guys. I'm no world, but I'm all fast twitch. I was a sprinter. I've got a high box jump. I've got a high vertical. I'm great in one round of anything. Like people go, hey, we're going to do 3 rounds. And I don't even try to, but after the first round, I'm crushing everybody. Come to round 2, I watch everybody fly by me. And I think that's, a power athlete. Anyone that has that, and I think Pat Barber and I were talking about it yesterday, about somebody that came to CrossFit. Who were we talking about? That came to CrossFit with Fraser. We were talking about why Fraser's so good, because he's an endurance athlete that learned Olympic lifting. Like, so he should have never been an Olympic lifting athlete. He
had a good foundation in Olympic lifting.
Well, no, that's what it was. So he's built for endurance. Like, he's got that VO2. He's got that long distance kind of like muscle endurance. And then he specialized his whole life in Olympic lifting. So he became the perfect CrossFitter.
Well, I don't know if you look at the CrossFit Games now. If you look at the average athlete's height, it has went down over the years.
It has, yeah.
Especially with the programming and all that stuff. When I first did CrossFit, we had 6'2", 6'3" guys in there.
Yep.
Those are non-existent now.
Yeah, it's just
the height is 5'6" to 5'9".
Yeah,
that's the height.
You got to move the bar farther. It's just too hard. My buddy, I'm friends with Hunter McIntyre, who went to the games this year, and everybody said no matter how fit he is, he's still 6'2".
Yeah,
and he's got to move the bar. The only one who's still doing it well, I think, it's Fikowski is pretty good as high as he is, as tall as he is. It's pretty hard to move the bar. I mean, there is a build for CrossFit, and the smaller you are, the better.
I wish,
except for rowing, rope climbing, and swimming, and
I wish that I had CrossFit in my 20s, or even I just wish that
you think it would have made you a better football player?
Well, the mindset that I developed from CrossFit I would have dominated in football. What CrossFit mindset wise and how to push through and how to persevere and all that stuff was probably some of the stuff that that really would have took my game in football to the next level. But the biggest thing is I was stronger when I was younger. Like, people thought I was putting up numbers then. I mean, I remember, doing triples at 375 on a clean. Triples, touch and go. Okay, this isn't just touch and go. And I sit back and I look at some of the numbers that I had, and I did this all in my 30s. I did like a 153 Diane in a competition. I did a 158 Fran. I mean,
153 Diane, 2159 push-ups, handstand push-ups, and deadlift.
It's still not, it was like fourth fastest in the world. I think Nick Erranker got that, and I forgot who else. Some of those guys are pretty good. But I mean, I'll never forget, cleaning over 400 pounds was easy for me back in the day. Squatting over 600 was easy, in my 20s. But as you play football and as injuries mount up, because you do get, there hasn't been one football season where I didn't come out with some type of injury.
Yeah.
Those injuries compound, and what happens is, performance-wise, you could still train and rehab. It decreases. Every injury you get, you decrease. And you could try to come back from an injury, from a broken back. I broke my back. I was almost paralyzed from the waist down. And so I had to rehab myself for years. So that's why when I said in the games at 40 years old, I had that bad back problem, is because of previous injuries. As you get older, they don't ever go away. You can rehab them, all that. They're still always going to be there. And so that's where I'd get back flare-ups and stuff like that, where I couldn't move and stuff. And this is just something that happened from when I broke my back, and I did all the rehab and everything.
How'd you break your back?
Playing football.
Oh, really?
Yep. I went up for a pass. I caught a pass, and my legs got taken out from under me. And when they got taken out from under me, I was up in the air, and I literally came right down, and I was like folded, and I landed directly on my spine over a sprinkler head.
Oh.
Yes. So where
was the sprinkler head? Not on the
L3,
were you just like playing
L5.
Tag football with friends or something?
It was at high school.
And they had a sprinkler head on your field?
Okay, it was on it was during practice, and the lens guy didn't take out the sprinkler that he was supposed to. I broke my back, and so yes, think about having to sleep sitting up with a brace and all that. That was a pretty bad experience.
Where was it? Lumbar or?
Lumbar, yeah. L3, L4, L5. I had hairline fractures, and the doctor, and so when I had those fractures, I had swelling, and the doctor said I was this close to being paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh my God. Oh.
That would have, think about if I was paralyzed from the waist down, I wouldn't be here right now.
Awful. I mean, I remember that year Kevin Ogar when that happened. That was just so traumatizing for him, and then, just everybody in the whole
sport.
Yeah. And the whole sport to go, wow, this is a possibility. You see people when you joke about like dropping a bar or something. I dropped a bar one time doing a SOTS press.
Yep.
And I didn't know what I was doing, and it was before I got into CrossFit, when I was doing CrossFit Site on my own, and I just put way too much weight up and just couldn't hold it, and right back down on I forget which part of the cervical spine, but I hit it, and it concussed me. Oh, I got a concussion from hitting my spine, and people don't realize that you can hurt yourself really bad doing this shit.
The thing is, like I said, I love CrossFit, but there's some things like, for instance, handstand push-ups. Yeah, they're great. But when you do fucking high volume handstand push-ups, what you have to understand, every time you go down and drop on your head, you're dropping on the top of your head. You're hitting your head. And when you do that over and over and over, what are you compressing? You're compressing your cervical spine.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that.
And this is the thing.
I've talked about it on the show all the time.
Yeah,
It's the one thing I think should be taken out of the sport.
So here's the thing. I've had people and I've had members complain to me, oh, you don't teach high skill movements, this and that. I'm a trained professional. My job is to keep people healthy so they can go to work each and every day and be the best version of themselves at work. If I have them do a movement and they're not a competitor, they're not a games level or anyone who's trying to compete, and they're just doing movements just because of bonus ego points, and then they get hurt, what type of professional am I? Who am I? Well, before CrossFit, I got my degree in exercise science kinesiology. I got numerous certifications, not just CrossFit certifications. I got CrossFit. I got all the different certifications. When I got into CrossFit, I got all the CrossFit certifications. I'm a believer in educating myself in all the different disciplines. I don't believe CrossFit is just the ultimate. Pilates is the ultimate. I believe everyone should have a variety and mix of everything. I think that when you have a variety and mix, that it leads to more balance in your life. Not only that, it creates no burnout. And the problem nowadays is that you get, or the beforehand, not nowadays, but beforehand, when people would come into CrossFit, have unrealistic expectations of trying to make it to the CrossFit games if you can't clean 135, how are you going to make it to the games, And they want to do all these high skill movements. Those high skill movements are going to fuck you.
They're party tricks.
Yes. Perfect example. This is why I've never been back. I'm not trying to shoot you down, but a Power Monkey camp, I went out there and, they had me doing a fucking planche. I fucking blow out my fucking elbow and I've had an injury ever since. So once I started wearing that elbow sleeve, it happened when I went to the Power Monkey camp and doing advanced gymnastics and hurt myself. If you watch me previously, I never had a sleeve. After that, I had to wear a sleeve because I tore my tendon. I have literally a torn tendon and a torn ligament in my elbow from planche. And so there's certain movements that a lot of people in our sport don't need to do and are just unnecessary, but we do them because we want style points or Kool-Aid points. And a lot of times those can come back and hurt us.
Yeah, that's the one movement I'd take out is the handstand push-up.
Yeah, too much compression on the neck. Even still today, I do them because I don't want to, I do them because I have to be an example. If I have guys, if I'm programming for people, I test a lot of my stuff when I program. So I need to know how it feels and all that. So I need to be able to relate it to my clients or my competitors.
But your movements are efficient enough, and also,
yes.
You've been conditioned over a length of time. I just think, like, even somebody like me, I've been doing CrossFit a while, but there's always that chance of muscle fatigue where I could give out and slam down. Yep. I just know there were times that I would do, I was pretty good at Diane because I've got good hamstrings, but I would go for like a really fast Diane and I'm kipping these handstand push-ups as fast as I can. And the next day I'm like,
you can't turn your neck.
Yeah. And I'm like, this can't be good.
Yep.
This can't be healthy. You don't fuck around with your neck, your spine in any way. And I was like, you know what? I don't know what day. There was just one day where they programmed it in. I looked at it and I went, I'm not doing them.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm done. I'm never going to do another handstand push-up again.
So what I do is I substitute those out for Z presses, so seated Z presses with kettlebells, or I substitute them out with the hand release push-ups. It's just with my clients, I want them to come back the next day, and I value their health. Why? Because if they don't have their health, all of a sudden I don't have a job. So I have to make sure that they're healthy and that they're moving efficiently and that they don't put themselves in harm's way. Because if they put themselves in harm's way, then...
I'm looking at your gym, and I've got to say it is one of the nicest CrossFit gyms I've ever been in. And I've been to like hundreds and hundreds. And it just looks like you have so much equipment.
I have fucking everything, man.
Yeah, you have this is an expensive place, and I don't know if it's because you have it free, but look, you've got like the assault bikes. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 assault bikes, plus you've got 2 spin bikes over here.
Some spin bikes. I have people who can't do that. I got bike ergs. I got assault runners, rowers. I mean, you name it, I have it.
And this is not a massive space. How many square feet is this?
7,000.
7,000? That's a lot, actually.
Well, because what you don't see in there, in my other room, I have a cryotherapy unit, full cryotherapy unit. So I do have I have a recovery center. So in the first room, I have cryotherapy, and in the back, I have a photobiomodulation bed.
Whoa. What the fuck is that?
Just look it up. I don't want to go over it, but basically,
come on, tell us.
All I got to say is the biggest thing, it's cellular therapy.
Okay.
Right? So here's the thing. Our body absorbs light, right? We go out into the sun, we get vitamin D. So photobiomodulation is we have different infrared lights, different lights. It's kind of like almost like what people are doing with the infrared saunas and all that stuff. But we have different spectrums of lights that your body absorbs this energy, and it helps with mitochondria production. And if you know about mitochondria, what that's responsible for, and then you just go into cell therapy and all that, that's what it does. But
does it involve NAD+? Because that's I've got a sponsor of the show,
stuff,
Elysium. That's one of the things, and I'm about to start taking the supplement because I've just been doing enough research on it, and I'm like, wow, this stuff sounds like
So the only other places that have them, so right now you'll see a lot of professional sports teams are starting to get them, or NASA. NASA's the only one in this area that has one of those beds. So we have that in the bag. I have, Norma.
How much did you spend on a bed like that?
Well, those things are, on the high end, you're paying 100,000 plus. On the low end, you're paying 50,000. So you're anywhere from 50 to 150,000.
Did you get a hookup somehow, or you just you splurged?
It's called you get the best for your clientele.
Yeah, that's great.
And so I have this recovery center. So with the recovery center, we have Norma Tech, we have all Mark Pros, you name it. I have every single device you could think of. So you see here all the weights, recovery, same thing. I have everything from Theragun to Hyperice to whatever I have it all because I want to make sure that when people come here, it's a one-stop shop. It's a one-stop shop.
Right. So your clientele too, you're in the Silicon Valley. You've got all these people who are tech wizards, and they go on the internet and they reach it, so they want the best. And I imagine that you have a clientele that they might not be the highest performing people, but they're the highest when it comes to they want their value.
Yes. So my clientele base, I have a lot of people from Apple, Google, all that stuff. So the typical. But most of them, they just want to be healthy and fit.
Sure.
I consider myself a weight loss center, meaning that I specialize now in weight loss for people. I specialize in weight loss. Why? Because you show me one person out there. Well, show me one person out there who doesn't want to lose weight. There's a shit ton of people out there. Before, I used to specialize in trying to get competitors and be the fittest in the world and all that stuff. But if you look at the percentage of that, it's not that much. I do have NFL athletes that I've worked with and that I currently work with still. I do have other professional athletes that I work with and currently work with. But a large majority of my brand and my business is working with the people who are not fit. People who need to lose weight, people who want to build self-confidence and build strength, people who just want to, be a better version of their self. And so that's more of the specialization of what I do now.
Do you do a lot of nutrition coaching with them?
Everything that we do now nutrition is like key.
Yeah.
Nutrition is king.
I love the saying. Rob Wolf always used to say, exercise is important, diet is crucial.
Yes.
And I say that to people when they're like, I want to lose weight. I'm like, so I started running and I'm like, let's go over your diet. Yeah. Let's go over your diet.
What people don't realize is what you consume can have an adverse effect on what you're trying to do. So people will be like, they'll work out and they're like, oh, I'm sore. But then if you consume the wrong foods, it can cause inflammation that can lead to other restrictions that even increase the soreness and, delay your recovery, the whole 9 yards, or not getting enough nutrition. There's so many diets out there and stuff like that. And, CrossFit got it right. Just portion out all your foods, eat meats, eat vegetables, little starch, and, try to diminish your sugar,
Yeah. I'm tracking all my calories right now. I'm doing this macro, this app, that we advertise here on the show. And
what is it?
Macro Stacks. And it's I can't believe how much I'm not eating enough protein.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how much, with the workouts I do, how much protein I need.
Yeah.
And I'm trying, like I'm eating steaks and doing and it was like, I used to eat bacon and eggs in the morning every day.
Fat.
Yeah, too much fat, not enough protein. I was like, I need more eggs and I need like ground meat, or I need like steak and eggs. I need to get more protein in. I need whey protein stuff. I'm like, wow. And I've heard so many people complain about protein. It's like, fuck off. I need more protein.
So everyone. So the problem that I'm coming across a lot is a lot of people now are vegan. A lot of vegetarians and stuff. Plant-based is very popular. The problem with plant-based is that you're lacking certain amino acids that are very crucial in repair and reproduction of muscle tissue. And so when you're lacking those amino acids because you're on a plant-based diet, there's some people getting great symmetry and great look from it? Yes. But if you look at the large majority, no. The large majority of people who are doing this are becoming a little bit more obese because of the simple fact that they're consuming, overindulging in carbs and not getting enough protein sources to help build that lean muscle.
Yeah, it's funny when you see a fat vegan, and it's like, it's easy. They eat French fries all day long, and they eat, cheese puffs and everything that they, I'm a vegan, I'm real healthy. No, you're not. Go get your biomarker, go get your blood work done. You're in shitty shape.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I've been looking into lately, and I've been researching a shit ton, is getting a little bit more customizable with my people, going into DNA testing and all that stuff, and really, like you said, looking at blood markers to find out what they are allergic to, what they're not allergic to, because I've done a lot of nutritional programming for people in the past, but now that science is even getting better, I want to start applying these aids. The only problem is that a lot of people don't want to fork out $500-600 just for a test.
Right.
And what you don't realize is that $500-600 that you fork out now for that test will save you fucking years of agony.
Yeah. And also tons of money in healthcare.
And not only, but not only that, it can really eliminate the foods that can be counterproductive to what you're trying to accomplish.
And because everybody's different, and what everybody's body's built differently, and nobody knows what food's what might affect you might not affect me because of our genetic makeup, and where you're originally. People don't understand where you were originally from, and where you evolved. Your people evolved to be able to eat this sort of food. My people might have evolved to eat this certain food, and then I have that DNA. You have a different DNA, so you can eat that, but I can't eat that. And people don't understand that. They think it's one size fits all, and it's not. It's not at all. And I tell some of my friends that are trainers, I always say that do it smart. I say, get a body spec. Get everybody's, because when people are going, I want to lose weight. You don't want to lose weight. You want to lose body fat percent. Yeah. So
that's what we have. We have an in-body instead of a body spec. So yeah.
Oh, you have one here? Jesus, you have everything.
I told you, man. So the biggest, going back to
I gotta film this after the show, because I want people to see this. And you have if you're training a person and you want to take somebody from where they are and achieve full like level of fitness and health, this is what you need. Yep. You have it. You have this your
this
facility.
Is just one part. So this part over here is like my Globo Gym part. So I have the old metal weights playing in. That got the cable system, all that. Then over there you got the CrossFit.
Yeah, right.
But the only machines you're going to get are the cardio machines.
But what I'm saying is the fact that you've got like a body spec. I don't know which one you're using, but a body spec and whatever that crazy machine you're using, and the cryotherapy, that's what people need to. All the parameters, all the metrics are there. Yep. You go in, you get measured. Go get your blood. People don't realize how easy it is to go to Quest Diagnostics and get blood work done. It's cheap. It's couple pricks into your arm, and then you can find out all these different things, and your trainer can go, here's our goal now. 6 months from now, we want to be here. Yep. And then if you do that with your client, they're going to trust you for the rest of their life. This guy got me from here to here. On paper, you can see. Yep. I've got proof. I've got proof of not, because if you gain or lose weight, that can be water weight, that can be fluctuate, whatever that is. But if you've got a body spec or a scan of your body that shows where your body fat is and where it's gone, you get your H1BAC or whatever it's called, I can never remember that, but the HbA1c. You get that done. You know where your glucose is. You know where your blood pressure is. Those are the important things, and that's how you're going to live long. So why do we have, you've got it all, but I'm saying so many gyms have, tons and tons of machinery and equipment and everything. When just send your client to fucking get a fucking blood prick.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. When I got into this field, I knew that this was going to be my career. This is something that it was my passion from the get-go, and I knew it was going to be my career. When CrossFit came out, what I started seeing is an influx of people who saw it as an investment and as a cash cow to make money and profit. Of course, everyone wants that, but if you're going to do it, remember, the profit will come if you get people results. And that's what I think people lost like all the people who just did the private investors and all that stuff, who wanted to start a CrossFit gym and all that. Me, I wanted to make sure that every year I buy and update my equipment. Why? I believe that my people should train if they train with the best equipment, they're going to give their best and put their best foot forward. You know how many times I've been to other gyms where bars didn't work, bumpers didn't work, shit didn't work, where I couldn't even get a workout? And that right there tells me a lot about owners. It tells me a lot about, are they in this business to, are they, one, okay, owners, don't get mad at me, not all of you guys, but one, I'm not saying for all of them, but there's some that I've been to in the past where it was all about making the money, keeping the money, and not giving their people the quality stuff or giving them the type of equipment they need to stay safe and injury free. However, there are those other owners who just can't afford it. And I understand that, because some places it's just so expensive and that it's hard to, when you have a family and all that stuff, and I get it. But those owners who just splurge and put the money in their pockets and not reinvest in their people, those are the ones that I'm talking about.
How many coaches do you have here?
Honestly, I used to have 6. Now it's just me and my wife.
That's amazing.
And the reason why it's me and my wife is because of the simple fact that, once I stopped competing in the CrossFit Games and I retired, I took a look at my business. And when I took a look at my business, what I realized was my culture wasn't here anymore. I was always out training and focused on training to try to win. And I trained, but I wasn't in the space to see the change of the culture. When I first started Extreme Athletics, I had a culture. I had a president here. Then when I let my coaches take over Extreme Athletics, their culture came about, and I didn't like the culture. The culture didn't provide a place where I felt people can get the fittest that they needed to be in their life. It wasn't positive in the sense of, I had people who are here who just took up space and were a babysitter, they didn't want to keep inspiring and keep motivating people. That's
a really hard part of being a gym owner, I think, is training your coaches to have your mentality.
Well, you have to have, everyone talks about passion and inspiration and all that stuff, but are you really passionate, inspiring people if you're taking them out every weekend to go drink or to promote drinking? Are you really helping someone change their life? Or, going outside to do bad habits? Changing someone's life is what I'd do. I'd come in on Sundays when we're closed, and I'd bring people into the gym because I knew that's a day when most people fell off, but I brought them into the gym to be in an environment, even when I was training for the games, to stay motivated and stay the course. That's what it was, is taking time out of my day to make sure that people, even when it was my off day, to make sure that people are staying the course in their
How many classes a day are you teaching, man?
5 classes.
You teach 5?
I teach 5 classes.
And your wife teaches?
She teaches 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a hard day.
I teach 5 classes, and I train I train private clients, and I got myself into I got myself back in the mix. I reorged my gym in April. I got rid of parted ways with trainers. We parted ways, and I parted ways with members because sometimes you got to clean up the oil spill.
Yeah, we just talked about this. There was an article in Morning Chalk Up all about that.
So every gym, one thing I'm going to tell you is being in this field, I've had my gym since 2005. I've had my own gym. And so I think I'm a seasoned vet being in this field since 2005. And prior to, I ran Globo gyms. But being a seasoned vet in this, you have to keep a community of people who want to inspire people and who are welcoming to new people. What happened was we'd try to bring people in, new people, and the old veteran CrossFitters were like people who just started, thought they're better than the new.
Yeah.
I go to other CrossFit gyms all around the world. I work out next to people who've never even done CrossFit, and I've worked out with people who are the best in the world.
Yeah.
And I treat even the people who are the beginners the same when I'm in the class with those people. As a veteran, I'm going to inspire, and I'm going to try to help them, and I'm going to try to motivate them.
See, I don't. I look at the new people and I look at them right in the eye before the workout starts and I go, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm just kidding. It's the only people I can beat.
Yep. Well, like I said, I wanted an environment. And so, not only that, I had an environment of old CrossFitters who, this is the funny part. Okay. If you know about CrossFit, there's a stimulus that we're trying to get in each and every workout. I want you guys to think about Murph. Murph is a stimulant. What we're trying to do is we're trying to scale down so people can hit the stimulant of 35 minutes to about that 50-ish minute mark, right? Mm-hmm. For a time cap. What justice am I doing if I give someone a weighted vest and it takes them an hour and a half to do Murph? Mm-hmm. Did they maximize the intensity? Did they maximize what we're trying to accomplish in that? Think about it. Think about if it took them an hour and a half to do it, how much were they resting in that workout? So what happens to their intensity?
Yeah.
So a lot of times, sometimes I think it's missed that training evolves and that trainers are in a position or coaches are in a position to set people up for success. You can watch all the other all the other shows and all the other stuff of people doing all this crazy stuff. But if you want to maximize fitness and you want to maximize results, there's a certain way you need to approach it. And that's one thing that I can say. When people have trained at my facility, I know for a fact, I have records, I have data. I've gotten people fitter, stronger, and healthier here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I've gotten people to lose weight. I've gotten people to gain weight. I've got people to get cut, the whole 9 yards. I've done that over these years. What I found is that when I've done that with these people, you have this sense of accomplishment with them and you help them achieve these goals. But then what I found on the back end, if you don't have the supporting cast to support your vision and what you're trying to do, they're just going to tear down your building.
Do you get to work out at all?
I get to work out, but I don't get to work out like I used to.
What do you do? How many workouts a day? One?
Honestly, I have a half an hour to an hour to get in whatever I can.
Yeah.
And I'm a master's athlete, so that means 30 minutes of that is mobility and warming up. And then I get maybe 15, 30 minutes to work out. So
what would you do?
I honestly, I went from, and this is the hardest thing. This is the thing that I fight with my mind every day. I went from an athlete who trained clients here and there and had a successful running business and was able to train all day long to I train people all day long and I'm trying to squeeze in a workout. Like today, I ain't going to be able to get a workout in and it's going to crush me, but
it's my fault.
No, it's all good. Yeah. Well, part of it. But, I'm lucky if I get to work out 4 days a week for at least an hour.
You still have that feeling though when you don't work out. I know we were talking about it. If I don't work out in the morning, I'm the whole day.
If I can't work out in the morning, I don't have a workout.
Yeah. The whole day then I'm angry about it. And
that's the thing. So my wife why are you angry? I'm pissed because I don't get to work out.
I was talking to my father-in-law's like this. Pat Barber and I were talking about it. We're working dogs. Yeah. We're like, how there's all different kinds of dogs. Yeah. We're working dogs, the type of person that does this. And I have a working dog. I have a cattle dog. If you don't work that dog's angry. Yeah. That dog will go through the garbage. Yeah. That dog will find ways to cause trouble because it's like, hey, take me outside, make me chase shit, make me run around, make me jump over stuff. And we're the same. We're working dogs. And if you don't hook a sled up to us, you don't make us throw a ball. I have to surf, mountain bike, run, CrossFit. Yep. If I don't do it every single day, I feel sorry for everyone around me.
So that's I picked up mountain biking. That's one thing I did do. I picked up mountain biking ever since the games went out of Madison. I've been mountain biking, so I have a group of guys who we get to go out.
Did you do the mountain bike? Did you do the mountain bike one? Yeah, you were in the year.
No, I wasn't in the open when they did that in Wisconsin.
Not the Wisconsin. I'm talking about the one at Pendleton.
Oh, yeah. I did Pendleton. I still have that bike.
They gave you like a fixed gear bike.
A fixed gear bike, so I'll never forget. So
that was awful.
So here's the thing. On the swim, I got my ass handed to me because, football player swimming, all right. Unless you had a background of swimming, I didn't. I had a background of being on the field running. So that's the difference, a power athlete versus endurance athlete. And then when I got on that bike, because I grew up riding BMX bikes,
yeah, me
I
too.
knew how to manipulate the bike. And so when you have a fixed gear bike and, well, one, when they have you riding on sand, pick that shit up and just run with it, or leave it by your side and run with it. That's what I did when people try to ride. I caught a lot of people and I moved up a lot of places on that. Where I got caught though was, of course, on the run. People caught me. But anyways, I passed up a lot of people on the bike. So what I'd do is I'd spin that bike as fast as I can, because you can only do a fixie so fast,
yeah.
and then you can't go anymore. Like you can go, and then so I'd spin it as fast as I can, and I'd coast, and then once I started losing my momentum, spin as fast as I can, and so I'd pass people up like that, and I pass, and I'll never forget at the checkpoint. There was 3 of us. I trucked my bike, and you had to run up the hill to hit the checkpoint. And so once I run up the hill, after that I was like, oh shit, now we have to run. And then I remember Pat Burt coming up, because the dude is just a runner. He's a beast at running. He went from, I think, from almost last position on the swim to like top 10 in the run, because he caught everyone on that, on the run. I'll never forget, Pat Burt comes next to me on that trail run. And he's all, hey, Neal, Maddox, let's go. Let's Tabata it. I'm like, okay, bud, let's go. I went after that first Tabata. I'm like, go ahead, bro. I'll see you later. I'm all, because these mountains were so damn steep. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't have that military background of go rucking and shit like that. Go ahead, bro. I said, I'll see you at the finish line.
I do that a lot on my trail runs, where I'll go, I'm going to Tabata for a while because I'm like beat. Yeah. And so I'll go, and then I'm like 20-10, 20-10. And I'm like, now I'm going to switch it. 10-20, yeah. 10-20. And then I'm like, how about minute on, minute off? And then I'm like, how about minute on, 2 minutes off? And then it just starts going, how about I just hike?
Yeah. So another funny thing where I made a mistake there is like a dumbass. I had a camo pack. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but I put Gatorade in my camo pack.
You're an idiot.
Okay. So this is my experience.
You didn't even dilute it with water.
Okay, I put a little bit of water, but that didn't do it justice. So you're in the ocean, you're swallowing salt water.
Yeah.
So
and then you put more salt water in.
Right away, you're like, fuck, I taste salt.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm running, I'm thirsty, and then I'm trying to drink this shit, and all it feels like is fucking salt and sugar.
Yep.
I felt like I was getting suffocated by salt and sugar. I didn't even drink it. I literally had to run at checkpoints to find water, to get water. And
I will tell you, I just went through it because I did this long race, and I had to, during my training, I had to kind of figure out what would work. Yep. And I had Stan Efford in on the show, and Stan was telling me all about, you need to, everyone I've talked to in nutrition, up in your sodium, take salt pills. When I would take salt pills just regularly, like before I'd go do a workout in the gym, it's fine. But when I was out during my runs and I would take the salt pills, because my Ironman friends were all going, hey, you got to take one every hour. Yeah. You've got to get the sodium up. I would take one, and literally within 2 minutes, I'm bending over going, and sometimes I would puke and sometimes I would dry heave. And I was like, and then I'd come back from my training run, and friends of mine would go, if you threw that up, you got to get more. You got to keep getting this sodium in you. So I would try different drinks. Yeah. I finally found one. They're not a sponsor of this show. It's called Tailwind. A woman, like some woman at a running store who doesn't even run. She goes, I was like, I'm trying everything that my stomach can handle. She goes, this is the one everyone likes. She goes, and I was like, all right, I'll try it today. I'll go on a run. So I poured it all in. It was like this giant tube of shit. Poured it into my water. And I was like, okay, I made it through that. So when I did the 68-mile race, we had 4 stopping points. So like every 15 miles, I'd fill up my Camelback with this stuff called Tailwind. And it never once made me puke. Never. And it was filling me up with sodium, potassium every time. And not to brag, but we started with like 12 guys or something. And we only finished like 4 of us. And, there were guys a lot better than me that didn't finish. Yeah. And I swear it was this Tailwind shit, because I just kept I just kept drinking. So I would fill my Camelback every single time, and I just kept getting that sodium, potassium. People don't realize how important that is.
Yeah, very important.
But when you're putting Gatorade, you're putting all that sugar. But the salt water.
It felt like I was drinking fucking sand. Because it made everything even drier, and like felt like cotton, like just like no saliva or anything.
I can't believe it still exists out there as a sports drink.
Yeah.
Like that is not, it's not a
shit.
sports drink.
Well, if you think about the old Gatorade when they didn't have high fructose corn syrup in it and it was in the glass bottle, that was actually a good product.
Was it?
But when they start, well, back in the day, way back in the day, but when they wanted to start mass producing it and blow it up even bigger than what it is, that's when they started putting all the junk.
When I played high school football back in the 80s, we would go into the gym at halftime, and they would give us each a can of Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
wow.
Here's your Coca-Cola. Wow. And you're like, oh, this tastes so good. And
I ain't gonna lie, that's still a guilty pleasure of mine, man.
I've read
I know.
Your donuts, your Coca-Cola, and what's your other thing? Milk?
So here's the thing. I kind of laid off the donuts and all that stuff. So every now and, well, I lied. Every now and then I'll get them. A matter of fact, I just went the other night. At least once a week I get 6 donuts. I'll pound like 6 donuts right in a row, straight hyperinsulinemia state, the whole 9 yards. But my guilty pleasure is if I'm traveling, I drink a Coke.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm watching a movie, I get a Coke. Meaning if I'm at the movie theaters, I don't drink a Coke just randomly at home unless it's like a Niner game. That's like my beer.
Yeah.
If you think about alcohol.
You don't drink alcohol at all?
No. I'll drink it occasionally.
Yeah.
I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
But if you think about alcohol and sugary drinks, they're both the same.
Yeah.
They process the same in the body. The difference is a neurological effect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you think about alcohol, a lot of times beer converts to starch converts to glucose. What do you think sugar converts to?
Yeah.
It all processes the same. It all goes to your kidneys, the whole 9 yards. However, do I know what I'm doing when I'm doing it? Yes, I know that I'm fucking my system. It does. My body talks to me and I get flare-ups in my gut. So I know when I'm fucking my system. But every so often,
I have a Coke. I probably drink about 4 Cokes a year. And when I do,
I've already had that in a week.
When I do, it's the most delicious thing in the world.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that was so good.
So, yeah, that is my guilty pleasure. My drink of choice is water. Of course, I drink a shit ton of that, but every so often I do it. But, yeah.
That's hilarious. And the donut, my guilty pleasure, Tate's chocolate chip cookies. Have you ever had those?
Man, cookies in general, yes.
Tate's, some chick in the Hamptons made these cookies. Those crispy things, whatever she did. I think she made like $1 billion on her company when she sold it. But, I think there's like 24 in a pack. Yep. And I always go, I'm going to have 2. And
12
then
are gone.
12. I can do the whole, I can down 24 of those. And I'm just like, when I see them, I'm just like, do not go near those things because there's no such thing as 2. My father-in-law told me one time, his guilty pleasure is pints of ice cream.
Oh, I could pound those too.
He said his whole life he didn't realize that you can put the lid back on.
Wow.
He
thought he had it. Wow.
Like it's a one time.
Wow.
You take that lid off and you eat it. Yeah, and you finish it.
How much weight did he gain?
He was a big dude. He was, I think at his top when he played for the Eagles, he was about 280 or something. Okay. And he looks good now. The guy is, he's really into fitness and health. And I just got him doing, he's so beat up from football. Every knuckle, every joint.
Well, if you look at my fingers, they don't straighten. That's why this has been like that ever since trying to lift barbell. They just don't, I bent all my fingers back playing football.
Oh, yeah, the stove is, and then he had knee surgeries, ankle surgeries. He has 2 artificial hips. Yeah. His back's bothering him. So now I got him into, for Christmas, we got him Diamond Dallas Page yoga.
Oh, okay.
And, he still goes to the gym. He still lifts weights. He outlifts me a lot. And like bench press, he still has that natural bench press. He's got a pretty good deadlift still. He can't squat. There's things he can't do, but I looked into Diamond Dallas Page yoga because he couldn't do regular, like yoga to him is like he's like, I don't want to be with those, that namaste shit, But Diamond Dallas Page is like, and then you bring it down and you flex it out.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I find out today how it went. He did his first one today, but I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you got a busy day.
Yeah. No, good. It's all good.
Where's the craziest gym you've ever seen? Because you've traveled. You were the L1 cert stuff.
I was L1. Like, what do you mean?
Did you go anywhere around the world, or were you in the country?
I've been everywhere around the world. So I've been everywhere. Now, like a lot of the Latin America gyms are pretty cool because they're outside. Like
that's cool.
Like so they have you're like literally outside. There's like an office space, and then you're outside with like a tarp over you. So those are pretty cool. Been to a lot of cool gyms in Colombia. I've been to gyms all through the U.S., all through Mexico.
So who had the nicest facility you ever seen?
I mean, one of the nicest is going to Reebok CrossFit at Reebok. That's
the one in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, their old one was huge. It was just a huge, nice facility. I mean, shit, Rich Frowney has a fucking mega house. I mean, I mean, think about it. I mean, that shit is fucking magnificent. I have to pay for all my equipment, so it's a little different. So
yeah,
it's like,
I'm surprised you do. I would think a lot of this came.
I never got a equipment sponsor. One thing I will say is Assault Fitness gave me a couple of items. They gave me that cool little rower over there. The new, I've been testing out that new Assault rower. You see
I gotta check that out.
It's basically like a Concept Model D, but I call it my Cadillac. It just runs smooth. You could try it out.
Yeah, I do want to see that.
So that's the new one that they have. Besides that, I mean, I pretty much. Oh wait, RX Smart Gear hooked me up with jump ropes, so they're good.
Do you have any sponsors anymore?
Nah, man, they don't sponsor the old man anymore.
Yeah.
I don't compete anymore, so I just don't care to compete anymore. The sport has changed. And what I mean by that, I just don't feel that, I know I've said this earlier, but I don't feel that we're sending the fittest to the games anymore. I think, I thought that I could beat some of those guys in the open division, and I shouldn't be able to beat guys in the open division as a masters athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't.
Yeah.
If you're the fittest in the world, you should be able to smoke everybody.
So what's the future entail for you? What do you do?
I still program for CrossFit athletes because I love CrossFit and all that stuff, and I still support it. However, I support it on the small scale. I go to all the, local events. I go to all the sanctional comps and all that stuff. The games is just, to me, I just don't think that they're sending the fittest to the games anymore.
Yeah. And so you're going to just keep building extreme athletics?
Yeah, my focus is extreme athletics and Maddox method. So the Maddox method, I am changing my name from CrossFit Extreme Athletics to Maddox method.
Oh, nice. So
my gym is rebranding to the Maddox method just because it's more of an all-inclusive versus CrossFit Extreme Athletics limits me. So I am going to the Maddox method because it's a brand that I've been pushing out. I still am going to keep CrossFit Extreme Athletics as one of my hubs. Meaning underneath the Maddox Method brand. But the whole purpose of the Maddox Method is that I work with all different athletes. Mm-hmm. I train NFL athletes. I train professional tennis players. I train professional hockey players. I train professional athletes. But then I train professionals in the tech world. Mm-hmm. But then also on the other side, I train people who want to lose massive weight. I've had clients who are 400 plus pounds and got them to lose weight. I also have clients in here who can't squat. They just literally can't squat because of decrepitude is so bad that I do physical therapy on people. Like this year alone, I got 10 certifications, and people are like, wow, 10 certifications, 10. Okay. And this is basically in all different realms. Like literally, I go learn how to grass. I want to learn how trigger point. I want to learn all the different disciplines so I can help my people to the best of my.
So you're like a ninja.
You have to be. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. This is my career and this is my passion, my life. Everything that I do revolves around this. And there's still people that I know till today who have one certification and that's all they're running with for, training their people.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting that down. But what I'm saying is if you want to be a true professional in the field, you need to master your craft and study your craft. And you need, like me, I'll go to a certification and I'm not trying to toot my horn, but yes, I know as much as the instructors, but if I could pull out one freaking thing out of that, it was well worth every dime spent.
Yeah.
If I can increase one notch on my tool belt, it was worth it. And that's all I'm trying to do. And I'm not saying that I'm the best or I know the most, but what I'm saying is that being in the field for 23 years, and if you're like me, I studied the shit every day. Even when I'm writing programming, people think I'm crazy. I have all my books out and I literally write programming. It takes me hours upon hours upon hours to write it because I have everything and I go into that and I don't discredit the people before me who developed a lot of this stuff, even though I think CrossFit has developed new systems that contradict old systems. I add all these things in there because, like I said, I want to be able to put the best product out there for my people.
So what do you do other than this? You got any hobbies?
You know what? No. Oh wait, mountain biking.
That's the new one.
I go mountain biking. So I go mountain biking. We hit the flow trails and hit demo and all that stuff. So
where are these trails?
Santa Cruz Mountains, man.
Okay,
right back there. So I mean, if you ever out here with your bike, I'll pull out my Santa Cruz.
I almost brought my bike with me because I got to go. I got to go to Tahoe and then Vegas, and I ride in Vegas.
Okay,
but I'm gonna rent an electric mountain bike in Vegas.
Well,
have you been on one yet?
So some of these trails won't allow you to have that.
Have you tried it yet?
Man, that's cheating.
I know, but my neighbor got one.
I know it's cheating.
But here's the thing: hills you could never have gone up before that you end up walking up. You're riding up them now.
Well, if you get that Eagle cassette and you get that extra disc, you ain't walking. You can pedal the whole time.
Oh, really? Like what is it? Like a bigger?
Yeah, the massive fucking disc. Like,
how many teeth?
Man, I forgot how many teeth it has.
Because you were talking about BMX. When I was a kid, I was so into BMX. I could tell you how many teeth were in every gear.
I have my bike, but I haven't geeked out on it that much. And
you're riding a Santa Cruz?
Yeah, I have a Santa Cruz tall boy that's it's fucking tricked out. It has all the top shit on it. And do you have to do that? No, but it does make a difference.
Sure.
When you can get an ounce off the bike, it makes a fucking difference. Yeah. You know, people don't realize that those little things make a difference.
Do you have a hydraulic seat post?
Oh, everything, man.
Is that the best thing ever?
Everything. So my wife is set up too. Her bike is set up, but if you're getting into this hobby, just so you guys know, it's like hockey. It's expensive.
So expensive.
Very expensive.
So expensive.
Bikes cost $15,000, $20,000. Yeah.
Crazy money.
And yes, was I one of those guys who got one of those stupid bikes? But
what'd you spend?
Enough to say that it was the best investment I ever did.
Really? Come on, what'd you spend?
It was about, I'll just say it was over $10,000.
Holy shit.
Okay. But I'm going to tell you right now, with everything that I have and all that, it has lifetime warranty on almost all the parts.
Right.
So anytime anything goes wrong, I just take it in and it's replaced. To me, that's well worth it. But not only that, it gives me the performance that I need.
Yeah.
They told me I didn't need to do it and all that stuff. But here's the thing. I live once. And if you look at my gym,
everything's perfect here.
You know, if you look at my gym, I try to get the best shit. I don't get knockoff shit. I get the best shit because I believe, you know, it's just like if you play football. If you look good, you're going to play good. So, you know, my whole thing is I want to get the best equipment for my people because I feel that they deserve the best. You know, if they're going to come here and train, they deserve to use top end bumper plates, not high temp. So I have comp plates everywhere. So if you look, the whole gym is fully outfitted with comp plates. I believe people should train with the best. You know?
Yeah, it's so funny because I've argued if there's you've got a really amazing gym with shitty coaches or the best coach in a shitty gym, who would you go to? And smart people go, I'd go to that great coach with the shitty gym. But looking at this, you have the great coach with the great gym. Yeah. So you've got it all. This is the gym people should be coming to.
Well, you know, I love to invite people here. And when I invite people here, I try to tell people to come here and come with an open mind. And what I mean by that, check your ego at the door. It's something, I don't know, Pat talked about that before, but it's true. When you come here, come with an open mind to be pushed to be a better version of yourself. There's too many times where I've had people come in here and come from other gyms and are top end competitors, but feel that they're above the person who's doing the class.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you right now, what made CrossFit so great was the fact that you can have the best and the worst all on the same floor cheering each other on. As a matter of fact, the worst, I don't even mean the worst, but the person who's the slowest gets the best cheers.
Yeah.
That's what CrossFit was to me, you know? And, you know, through the years, I don't know, it just, you know, now I think they're, you know, part of CrossFit. We got snobs, you know, you got some snobs in the world who think that they're better than the standard.
I just want to ask you a few questions fans have asked, and I got to get to my phone.
Yeah, my wife is still working, so we got a little bit of time.
All right. Sorry, we're taking so long.
No, don't even trip. Once she tells me we're done, that's when, because we have to go to in-laws' house.
I know that. I was just there.
Not in-laws, sorry. We have to go to her sister's house.
I just did 2 weeks at the in-laws.
Yeah.
It was, let's see. I just put this on, so let me see if I have any.
Yeah.
John Matthew Ware, who asked funny questions, said, "What's on your pizza?"
Oh man, bro, I'm old school, man. Pepperoni pizza. It's old school, baby.
That's pretty much what I do too. I don't even like pizza.
Yeah.
I eat cauliflower pizza now all the time. You ever have that?
You know what? I've had gluten free. I've had cauliflower once, but man, I need the dough.
Cauliflower pizza makes me fart like a motherfucker.
That's cauliflower for you.
It is like awful. And it's one of those things too. I'll just have a slice, and the next thing you know, I eat the whole pizza, and then I'm like, oh, tonight's just going to be ugly. I just tell my wife, I go sleep in the other room because I'm gonna blast you out of this room.
Right.
I just posted these on the way over here. Sorry.
No worries.
Usually, how many pit bulls are required for an elite CrossFit gym?
The mandatory number is 3.
What do you have? You have 3?
Yeah, I have 3.
I thought I only saw 2 here.
Well, so Rocky's an old man. He's 14, so the only time you see Rocky come out now is when he has to use the restroom. But he's an old man, 14 years old. The lifespan for most typical pit bulls are 10 to 12 years. So for me to get 14 years so far and going, and he was a 100+ pound dog, he's lost a lot of that, but he's my buddy. He has been with me pretty much for the whole ride of extreme athletics. That's why, it's just, he's my buddy. It means a lot because once we lose him, I don't want to think about it, but
yeah, I know.
Once we lose him, he was with me during the whole start. He's been through the evolution of this.
Yeah. And what are they? Blue nose?
Yeah. Blue nose.
Yeah. They're great dogs.
And, people told me, why did you go with a pit bull? Well, one, I take it back to me. A lot of times people look at me and a lot of people judge me by my cover, just like a pit bull. When I got into CrossFit, I came from a football mentality. You've been around your father-in-law. Mm-hmm. A football mentality was, you compete against me, I'm going to rip your fucking head off. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm a defensive player. I could not go into a game thinking, oh, patty cake, I'm going to be friends with this guy. I had to make you my enemy, so I wanted to destroy you in order for me to get myself in a state, in order for me to perform and play. Sure. When I got into CrossFit, I didn't know any better. I came from a football background, and so I put my headphones on. I wanted to fucking destroy and take fucking heads. Obviously, you learn over the years that's not CrossFit. That's why at that games, I took off my glove when Jonah was going and he almost got time cap and his hands were ripped. I know how it feels to have ripped hands. I tore my hands off on tore off all the skin off the monkey cage in the games, and I couldn't even grip the bar and ended up messing up my shoulder. So I know. And when I saw him in that state, I gave him my glove. Now, if you would have caught me the first year I got into CrossFit, I would have said, hell no, let him suffer. But you learn all this.
Stepped on his hand.
Exactly. Right. You learn these things. Well, I wouldn't have in football. I would never step on anyone's hands or anyone. I'd want to hit them hard, but that's the difference. I had to learn different things I had to learn different things when I went into CrossFit to change it. And so going back to my story, how, the persona of me was, oh, Neal, is this, that, because I carried myself with a poker face and I was quiet. It wasn't that. It's just, if you grew up in the neighborhoods that I grew up with, okay, in the hood, in the ghetto, and you're around people all the time who are trying to take your head off, but literally, really trying to take your head off, it makes you a little bit skeptic. You're a little bit more preserving. You're a little bit more observant of what's going on because of the simple fact that your childhood prepped you for a different lifestyle. And then when I became an adult, of course, I had to get out of those realms, but some of those things still stay there.
Sure. And I think CrossFit, for the most part, because the barrier of entry is very high because of the amount of money you have to pay, that you get a lot of people from middle class or upper class backgrounds. And if you take someone, and you came from a background not like that, that's a rarity in this business. And I always, or in this sport, and I always said, hey, once this thing opens up to the population that is impoverished, that doesn't have the money, watch the fuck out.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now.
The tougher mentality.
Yes, I'm going to tell you right now. So how can I explain this? A lot of the best athletes that we have who come from impoverished communities go into sports that are high paying because of the simple fact they're looking for that lotto ticket. Mm-hmm. And they have opportunity to hit in that lotto ticket. CrossFit doesn't open that up. Like, okay, I'm going to train my whole life to win 250,000 or 275 at the CrossFit Games when I could go to the NFL, and that's an entry level 275 entry level per year.
455.
455 now. Back in my day, it was 275, but 450 at entry level. And then I have guys who are making the practice squad making over 200, 300,000. So you take a poor kid and you put him in that state. What do you think he's going to choose?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, let's say you take a poor kid and you say, hey, you work out this gym, it's going to help you in football, baseball, basketball, whatever. And all of a sudden, this kid's 25 years old and he doesn't have the opportunity to play football, baseball, or basketball, but he's been training CrossFit his entire life. You're going to have a beast of an athlete now.
Yes, you will. But the problem is that a lot of these parents and their kids can't afford it.
Right.
And so that's why they don't do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying when the barrier for entry comes down, which it is, and more people can get involved in it, and they start, as CrossFit is spread, and I always said this, eventually they'll be teaching this in the weight room in school.
So there are schools that do teach CrossFit, and I do think CrossFit should be a part of schools.
Yeah,
I do think there's so many things that I'm going to tell you right now, with CrossFit, you put people on the CrossFit floor and you get them to do a workout, you can learn a lot about that person's work ethic. Mm-hmm. Through one workout, you can learn a lot about a person's work ethic. Do a workout.
Yeah.
You'll know when the going get tough. You'll understand who are the people who are your overachievers and your under. You could see the different dialects, and then when you sit back and you dive deeper and you talk to these people, then you really get to see. Okay, so you get to learn a lot about people through fitness. I learn a lot. There's one thing that I was thinking about earlier that I wanted to really touch up on real quick, and it was something that I recently came across and realized that I had for years and didn't realize. A lot of people don't talk about anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I never realized that I had it until I heard other athletes talk about some of their experiences. Perfect example. When I'm in my regular training state and I'm training with guys, there's times where I trained with a lot of top guys, would go, and we're neck to neck, and sometimes I beat them, they'll beat me. But then in the games, when I'd go to compete, I didn't realize that my first few years in the competing, I would get anxiety because there was a feeling where I'd step on the floor and it literally felt like I couldn't lift.
Really?
Like everything felt like I felt literally, I would go and I felt like I was moving in slow motion, like literally moving in slow motion. I couldn't go any faster. And I didn't realize that it was a lot of anxiety and nerves that were building up that got me to not perform versus perform. And I learned this at 40 years old. I didn't realize that prior to. And so what I'm saying is that, when in football, in football, I realized too, I got the same thing, but it was knocked out of me after the first play. So when I got out there and I got my first hit, it like shook off it like woke me up and I was ready to go. But I never really got my first hit in like some of those workouts in CrossFit. And so it just felt like the whole time it was like, I felt like I was in slow motion because if I look at a lot of the games workouts afterwards, there's times where I said, I could work out right now. I never really laid it all out on the line. And then when I went to Masters, I knew I laid it on the line because fucking every single time I was on the ground fucking rolling around like I couldn't even breathe or die. Not once do I ever really find myself doing that at the open division. Not once did I ever take myself to that. If you look and I go back and I replay the movies and I replay everything, I've never, ever, I never really have taken myself to that line.
Wow.
And so that's part of the regret that I've had. And that's why I said, I wish, you don't get two turnarounds. You get one shot.
Did you not take it to the line because you were worried about the next event? Or did you not take it to the line out of a fear of success?
I had it partly, here's the thing. You have fear of failure.
Yeah.
Me, I never wanted to fail on the big stage. Two, anxiety, the stress and all that stuff, some of that pressure really built up. And it just caused me to underperform than to perform. Because how is it that, and even, like I said, there was times where I train with Jason and it's like, then all of a sudden I'm on the competition floor, I'm a different athlete. Mm-hmm. But yet, and when we're in our training realm, I'm a whole different, and I'd have, that's why it's like, when I was in my comfort zone, it was fine. But, it's just things that you learn about yourself. So why I put that out there is that I put that out there and share that with people, because if someone didn't share it with me, I wouldn't have realized what was happening to me. And so if you do have some of those issues that are going, that you're getting anxiety or you're doing a workout, and it's like when you do the workout, it's like you're trying, but you have no energy and it feels like you're moving in slow motion. You're just not going. What I had to learn how to do is I had to learn how to take a step back. And like I said earlier, I had to learn how to meditate and visualize myself and literally take myself through the process before I went through the process. So I knew how the process was going to go when I went through the process.
Did you, do you still work out with Jason at all?
No, I haven't worked out with Jason in years.
He's close to here though, right?
No, he's right down the way. I haven't worked out with him in years and stuff. It's just, life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could be literally a couple of miles away from someone, but because I have my gym, he has his gym and all that stuff. Everyone thought that I was part of NC CrossFit back in the day when I had my own brand the whole time. And so that's what made it hard to intermix, was the fact that I was training with him, but I had my own brand. So it was like, giving a lot of recognition to his brand.
Sure.
And so, me, at the end of the day, I love the dude. Anytime you put work in with someone and you spend years with someone, training with someone and stuff like that, you build a brotherhood and you build relationships with these people. And, Jason, I hold close to, a dear friend, hold close to my heart, because we put in a lot of years every day when we're training side by side, blood, sweat, and tears to, achieve the ultimate goal of being the fittest, and so yeah, he's right down the way. But like I said, life just, he's working, he has obligations to his family and his work. I have obligations to my family and my work. And so it just makes it a little bit harder.
Life. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. This has been amazing. Awesome finally meeting you. I can't believe you haven't been on the show before. 10 years, I guess you were never down in LA and we never came up here. So, awesome seeing your gym. I'm going to film some of this stuff for people to see. It's honestly one of the nicest gyms I've seen. You have, don't sell yourself short ever. You have had an amazing career. It's incredible. I look up to you, especially the age you're at and the way you're still performing. So,
I'm not, just so you guys know,
he's retired.
I'm not performing the way I used to perform. I'm retired, and I just the reason why I'm saying this is because I still go to places and people, let's train it. And here's the thing: I don't train with the intensity or the passion that I did, because I don't have it. My passion and all that stuff is in my coaching and working with my clients. And so if I put that passion in training into myself, I'm not going to work with other people. My focus is going to be myself, but all my energy is going into other people. So now when I work out, I like to work out for leisure, and I just like to work out. I just want to get a bro session. I'd rather
I know you say that, but I know you probably still crush it. So, so where can people find you?
Guys, you can find me Instagram, Neal Maddox, or check out Maddox Method. I do a lot of programming for a lot of different people, a lot of different athletes, people of all, backgrounds, the whole 9 yards. So Maddox Method is where you can find me. Also CrossFit Extreme Athletics. But pretty much, if you guys have any questions, anything, just reach out to me, Neal Maddox.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And guys, thanks for listening. Go to iTunes, rate, review, comment, and come see me live. I don't know what day this comes out, but go to eddief.com. You can see all my show schedule. See ya.